Good afternoon, everyone. Mike Dandy here from ERTH Corporation. And what we're going to show you today in our quick webinar that we have is our latest enhancements that we've done to improve your ability to work remotely during this time using Quadra's mobile field and survey tool with our latest XOI integration, as well as our service contract and job cost modules. To start, I think it's most important to review our latest version of our mobile field surveying and coding tool and its latest enhancements. First and foremost, our XOI integration. And I'll take you guys through some screenshots and some quick vignettes of each of these as I go through. The next one is our new feature that we have. If you don't have XOI integration, or you just want to quickly be able to attach the pictures or videos or whatever it is that you take right with the quote when it's emailed to the customer, we also have new options now for selecting those, whether it be, again, pictures or attachments or files, right with the quote as it's emailed to the customer in the automated fashion through Quadra. The other enhancement is the ability to add items as a percentage versus a fixed dollar amount. So it'll actually calculate, if you wanted to just add, say, project management as a percentage of the overall labor, it'll calculate how much that should be based off the other labor hours that you've already put to that quote. Another one that was asked for quite some time now, it was a hot item at Synergy last year as a request from our customers in our roadmap, and that was the ability to be able to print and or review or email the customer the quote in not just PDF, but also in Word. So there's now options to select that, as well as enhancing the Word template itself from being just HTML versus now the same as our other modules being a Microsoft Word document template, which is much easier for you guys to manipulate and change. It also gives more flexibility around margins, fonts, look and feel to probably more closely match possibly what you guys were previously using. We've enhanced some search functionality, improved workflow, enhancements to tracking of emails that are sent, new customizable ability for recommendation statuses, and configurable options for having the actual Quadra quote ID be included in the service call description when it's automatically created from the approval process in Quadra, and then many other bug fixes and other enhancements. So let's jump into some of those and take a look. So the first one being the XOI integration, as you may recall, where when you go to choose to upload files or pictures or whatnot now, while you're starting off the process of creating this quote and recommendation for a customer, there's now a new button in there called XOI Create Job. So for those of you that are familiar with XOI, what you can do now is click this button. It will actually then go and create the job with the correct workflow or whatnot, or that you've set up, or you can select the workflow from within XOI. And then once it's created that, then you can click it again, and it'll actually launch it right into the XOI application as a deep link right from the Quadra app. And from there, it'll show you the job that it's created and allow you to continue on and select that workflow. So as you can see here, just a quick video of that, I'm selecting the actual customer to start this recommendation or quote off for, followed by the location. And then from there, I can either select from a template of typical things that we would quote, or just type a description if it's a custom one, or I don't have any set up in that case. Follow through by creating the recommendation. And then as you scroll down through the main screen here, you now see this new option to create the XOI job. And as it's going through, it's now completed that process. It's now updated the button name to launch the XOI app and do a deep link right into it and jump right to that job that you had just created. So from there, again, for those that are familiar with this process, you would go through in your regular steps in XOI, review the specific job that it created, and choose the workflow that's one that's maybe you would set up for creating quotes, and go through, grab those nameplates, grab those pictures of the actual piece of equipment that's broken, take those videos that you need to, and then jump back into Quadra and complete that quotation to be sent off to the customer. From there, it'll actually have a link built right into your template now, where the link to the shared XOI pictures and videos that you took for that specific quote will be available automatically within your quote to the customer. The second main piece is our ability now, as I mentioned, if you don't have XOI or you just want to, again, take some pictures or videos with your phone and attach them right in the email itself versus an embedded link through a system like XOI. You now have that ability to add those as attachments, go through and select which ones you want to include. And then, as I said previously, you also have the ability now to export that and review it in either PDF, or if you're using the desktop version, you may want to download it into Word so that maybe your staff or your sales staff can further manipulate it a bit more before it gets sent out versus kind of being locked with PDF. The other one was the adding the items as a percentage and a calculated value now versus a fixed price for something with a standard markup. You can now say, add 30% to the inventory costs for potential restocking fees, or again, some other percentage that you want to add maybe to the entire job as some form of a tax, or again, maybe just some project management fees to the quote as a percentage of the overall labor that's been added. And so it'll calculate that, it'll show you the percentage, and then once it's added, it's a calculated amount, so you can't adjust it. And as you can see there, what's highlighted, it'll calculate that dollar amount. Some more improvements to kind of just, make things more intuitive, show this is more of a button. And once you're in the subtotal screen, you can then see how it's also, in addition to the markup calculation, and also that you can edit those. What does that mean? It's a gross profit calculation percentage, and also a dollar amount. What does that work out to? So staff don't need to, kind of calculate that in their head anymore, no matter which kind of format, whether it's markup or gross profit you guys use, or wanting to know that dollar amount, it's always going to be there and available for the staff to see. And then finally, just some more improved search workflow and customizable recommendation statuses that we've done. When searching now, whether it's a customer name or combination of location or equipment ID or scanning a barcode, this search bar or button now will stay floating at all times in the screen. You don't have to scroll to the bottom anymore. As I'm going through and, adding items to a quote or recommendation, once I'm done, I don't need to keep clicking back to get back to the main screen. I just hit complete, and it'll take me right back to the recommendation or quote that I'm working on. And then finally, reviewing or using the custom status on a recommendation and being able to set the name of what you want to call that depending on the data that you're loading in this status in this dropdown. And additionally as well, also having a search autocomplete search capability there versus just a plain dropdown. So lots of enhancements there. This video, again, quick vignettes will just show you just some of those really quickly, showing the gross profit being calculated there in addition to the markup and dollar amount, more intuitive as a button, going through and selecting maybe a motor or some kind of compression coupling here in this case, putting in the quantity if need be, but just showing you how when you're done that, you can click complete, and it just takes you right back. So again, less button clicks, more smooth of a workflow process. And then finally going through and putting in the email address here and selecting those videos or those pictures that I took to be attached with the email that goes to the customer, looking at the old HTML format versus the new Word format, selecting which template you want to use for this quote, and then do I want to send it out as a PDF locked down, or do I want to preview it in a Microsoft Word format that I can then edit further. So as you can see here, it's now just going to open up in Word versus PDF, where I can go ahead and further manipulate that. So on to service contract quoting. So one of the probably big roadmap items that we've had for quite some time that again was a big item at Synergy last year and has been pretty much since the start, and now it's been amplified with the whole pandemic, where sometimes the customers don't want you guys coming on site, especially nowadays, to even survey that equipment, and they're going to send it to you in an Excel sheet with a list of all this equipment. And probably the best way is to be able to just take that Excel sheet and import it directly into Quadra with all those serial numbers and details, makes, models, maybe even filters and belts and the sizes that go with that equipment, and take that right from the customer. Skip even going on site if that's not an option anymore. Or more importantly, even if you are, maybe it's still easier for staff to write this down in Excel versus adding those through Quadra to get them on the contract. Another option for creating equipment ID and mass creating them, again, through this new Excel import, which I can show. Enhancements to quote generation variables, making just more available, more flexible, more options for manipulating that data. Enhancements to the travel time calculator, where it'll actually only apply the travel time to the months that have a task scheduled, and updating accordingly, and then many other bug fixes and other enhancements. So as I mentioned earlier, when you're going through the process now of selecting a customer and location and looking at the equipment that may already be there that you've saved, maybe previous contracts or service calls that you've done for that customer, if it's a new customer, or again, maybe it's a new contract and you've only captured a couple pieces of equipment that were there, previous repairs, and now you need to gather all the rest that you want to include in a quote for a customer, you can now choose to click on the import button at the bottom of the equipment grid, select that Excel sheet. If you don't have a template that you need to fill out or you'd like the customer to fill out, you can also click on it and it'll actually pull the specific columns, the way that you've organized it in the configuration, which ones you want to include and which ones not. And then you can go ahead and provide that to the customer to fill out, or for your staff to fill it on their own, or you're just cutting and pasting into the template from what the customer provides. So once I choose the file, as you can see here, just a number of air handler units with all of the serial number and sublocations and model numbers and when it was installed or when the warranty may expire and so on. It's basically a click of a button and immediately imports all of those records, which I know was, if you needed to get the detail of the serial number for every one previously, that could be quite time consuming. So here's just, again, another quick video just showing you that process now, where I've selected the customer, I selected the location, I'm now choosing the import option. I've downloaded the template to fill out and review with the different headers that I want to look after, including equipment ID. And I can put the equipment ID in there, it'll auto-generate it. Or I leave it blank and it will just use whatever configuration that you currently have in Key2Act to generate that. So here I am just grabbing that file that's been filled out and uploading, and pretty much instantaneously now, all of those equipment with those details have been added. And finally, job cost estimating. We've done a lot of work on our project management tracking, adding more options to be able to delete things if you accidentally uploaded them, enhanced our workflow creation, and just a number of other features. Probably most importantly, again, it's just within our project management grid. If you email something to a customer, maybe it's an invoice requisition that you want to go to your finance staff, or maybe it's the actual quote that you've completed and you want to include that as a task to go to your manager for him to review and approve. You can now track, has that been emailed to the customer or to your boss or to your manager, when and by who. And then also, if you uploaded a file by accident, maybe it's not correct and you want to delete it, you now have that option with a new delete button in there. And finally, with the audit log, it will actually show if you did upload it by accident and delete it, it'll show that somebody uploaded it and who deleted it and when, if it was done in error. So just a lot more tracking enhancements with that. Secondly, the main enhancements with this is our workflow for creating the jobs or job requests themselves, and forcing users to follow more of a process, not allowing them to fill out these other fields like job type or project manager or contract type and stuff, graying those out, because a lot of the time they're automatically filled out as soon as you select your job template. So you follow the same process again of giving it a name, choosing the division, choosing which template, and the rest of the things will follow. So we've reorganized the order, from left to right, top to bottom, in which you'd have to follow that and following the new process for the workflow. So this particular one here is really just going over and seeing how, after you select the template, all these other fields that are filled out. And then finally, an actual video for that. So you can, again, auto-generate the job number. If not, give it a name, followed by the division that you would like to create this quote for. And then based off of that division, choose the specific template, followed by the customer. And as you can see, everything out is automated and filled out, whether it's the tasks that go with that type of quote or the cost codes that may be used for that process. And to wrap it up, we're doing a promotional offer right now for free software. During this pandemic, will be waived until it has passed. And just giving you guys an opportunity to move forward with some of these enhancements if need be. Any additional training and whatnot can be provided. So take a look. Let us know if you need any help. We're also following up with a live Quadra webinar on May 26th, showing all of these features and functionality, and again, more enhancements that we've put into the application to help you guys work more freely and remotely during this time. Thanks very much.